I'm going to show you how to make this lovely little shopping basket. It's a really easy little project and one I think you'll enjoy. Now I've made my basket in 1/12 scale, but it's another of those projects that you could make in any scale once you know how to do it, and in any size. So you'll need cereal packet card, a thinner card, and I've used a black card, and that's just so that it doesn't show through the cord. If you use something white or a lighter colour, it sometimes does peep through the cord. Scissors, a really nice piece of cotton fabric, nice small pattern on it, looks more realistic. I've used my trusty old Gorilla Wood glue. You could use any sort of PVA or paper glue. Cocktail sticks for applying the glue, just makes it easier to apply. For the handle I've used fuse wire, and I think this is 5 amp. It's about just under a millimetre thick, or 3/64 of an inch, but you could probably use a paper clip. It's nice and bendy, nice and pliable, so you want something that you can make into the sort of curved handle. And then to attach the handle to the sides of the basket I've used tape, and I've used this black, I think it's called washi tape, so it's sort of a paper tape. Use something that the glue's going to stick to rather than a like normal sellotape or something. Then for the actual basket, 1mm waxed cord, and these come in all types of colours, and I'm trying to actually get a trade account so I can start selling these on my Etsy store, so look out for that. But if not, just try eBay or something like that, waxed cord. And then an embroidery floss, which I've used to make the plaits around the base and around the edges of the basket. And try and get it as close to the colour of your cord as you can. It doesn't matter if you want to coordinate, you could use a completely different colour altogether. Pair of tweezers, that's just for placing the fabric into the bottom of the basket, makes it easier. And I think that's everything we're going to need, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to begin by cutting 5 rectangles from your cereal packet card, each measuring 33mm by 23mm, and that's 1 5/16 of an inch by 7/8 of an inch. And I've cut 5 to give me a base of about 3mm or 1/8 of an inch thick, but obviously if you're using thicker card you can cut fewer pieces, but you just need about 3mm here to glue the outside card around. And then just go around each one and just snip off the corner like that, and that's just so our basket isn't completely square. So snip off the corners, and then I've just dispensed some glue here onto a piece of card, and I'm using a cocktail stick to apply it. And then you want to glue all of these pieces together. Like that, and then sort of just keep squaring them up like that to make sure they're all staying in the right position. And I've actually got a base piece here that I made earlier, and once you've done it, secure it with some clamps just to make sure that the cardboard dries nice and flat. There's our base piece. And then if you've got any sort of corners that really don't match, you can just go round and trim those off. It doesn't have to be exactly precise, it's just so we've got a nice rounded edge rectangle. And then from your black or dark card, cut a piece that measures 120mm by 19mm, and that's 4 3/4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to glue this around the edge of the base. So apply glue around the edge. like so. And then I'd rather have my plain card showing at the bottom than the sort of cereal packet side, so attach it so that that's at the bottom or underneath, and just press it against the side and then hold it in place and wrap it round. Probably easier if you do it on the worktop so that you're not getting the glue on your fingers. And press it against the base, and then I'm just going to apply a bit more there because I've just wiped that off with my fingers. And then bring the other side up, and keeping it sort of flat with the bottom of the base as you go. And then just apply more glue along the flap. And then you can stick that down. And pull it tightly before the glue has dried. Just keep sort of pulling it into position. And I'm just going to use a clamp there to hold those edges together. Like that. Just pop that to one side, and then from the fabric, cut a long piece measuring 120mm by 25mm, and that's 4 3/4 inches by 1 inch. And then I've just cut a little piece here for the base, which will again be the same size as your card, which was 33mm by 23mm, 1 5/16 by 7/8 of an inch. Just pop those there. And I'm hoping that's now dry. Okay, so now apply glue on the inside of the basket, just around the edges. And then just around the top outside edge. Like that. And then glue the fabric around the outside edge. Bring it round. And then again you can just apply a bit more glue to the flap there at the end. Running out of glue now. Like that. And then bring those two together. And then just press that inside the basket, so sort of folding in the sides and then pushing in the front and back, and then just use your finger just to press it against the sides and down into the bottom, so you've got nice sort of flat sides there. Like that. And then I'm just going to put a bit more glue on my card. Like that. And then using the tweezers, hold on to the base piece and apply glue. And then stick that down in the bottom of the basket. And just press it into the corners. like so. Okay, so pop that to one side again, and then take your piece of wire or your paper clip and straighten it out, and then we just want to apply glue to the middle section, so just roughly mark out the height of the basket, and that's about my thumbnail width, like that. And then I'm going to apply glue to the central area. So the sides that are attached to the basket, we want them to be just wire, so we don't want to put the cord around those. So just leave the same amount clear of glue at either end. And then take your cord and hold on to the cord down there with the clear piece of wire, and then just begin to wrap it round nice and tightly, and keeping each sort of round as close to the one before as you can. And when you've got a little bit round like that, you can move your fingers up and continue. Okay, and then when you get to there, just sort of snip it off like that. I'm just straightening out the wire here, and then that can be left to dry. It needs to be completely dry before we bend it into shape. So once the cord has dried to the handle, just trim off any excess, like that. And just apply a little bit more glue at the ends if you need to, just to stick them down. Put a little bit there as well. And then just really carefully begin to sort of shape it into the handle, and so that it's even as well. Like that. And then attach it to the basket so it's sort of in the centre, and you can just do that by eye. Unless you're not very good at measuring by eye, then you can just use your ruler. Like that. And then I've just cut here a few pieces of my black tape. And press it down firmly, and I don't want any of the wire showing, so I'll just put another little piece on there. Oops. And the same on the other side. Make sure you're sort of in the same place. Another bit there as well. Like that. Just tuck that bit of loose cord in there. And then you want to now apply glue around all of these outside edges. And then attach the cord, that's a little bit too much there. Attach the cord along the bottom edge of the basket. It doesn't matter where you start. And press that into place. And then I'm just holding that piece there with my thumbnail, and then just begin by winding it round the bottom, and so that it's straight with the bottom as well, so you haven't got any of the basket showing underneath. And that piece of card there is actually overhanging, so I'll trim that off afterwards. And then just keep going around. Pull in fairly tightly, but not too tight so that you misshape the basket. And keeping the rounds as close together as you can. And then just work your way round until you reach the top of the basket. So once you reach the top and you really can't fit another round in, just trim that off and then just apply a little bit more glue and press that down. Like that. Okay, that can just go to one side. And now we're going to make a couple of plaits using the embroidery floss. So for each plait you want 9 individual strands of floss, each measuring 200mm or 8 inches. So 3 by 3 strands like that, and then knot them together at one end. And get the knot as close to the end as you can. I've given you a little bit extra so it won't come up too short. And then if you've got somebody to hold that for you, all well and good. But I use this small plastic tray. I've got a bulldog clip on the end here. And I just attach the knot under the clip and then plait. Okay, so make 2 plaits, and then we'll begin by attaching one around the bottom of the basket. So just apply glue just around that sort of bottom strand of cord. And then just begin attaching it like in the centre there. And again, you want it as close to that bottom edge as you can. That will hide any joins at the bottom there. Just work it around. And then you can trim off the first knot. Stick that down. And bring around the other side. Again, so right along that bottom edge. Then you can just make a little indentation with your thumbnail so you know where to trim that off. And apply more glue if you need to, and then just press that down. Like that. Just finishes off that bottom edge nicely. And then this top plait we're going to apply actually at the top here over this join between the fabric and the card. So apply glue around the edge. And then with the handles we're going to go around the outside, so just apply a little bit on the bottom of the handle there. That side as well. And then again begin, attach it in front of the handle and then bring it round and onto the top edge. Just working it round. Covering up that join. Around the outside of the handle. You've got a bit of time to manoeuvre it before the glue begins to set. So check it's where you want it and snip off that first knot. And you can bring this other side around. Again, just make a little mark with your nail and then trim that off. Stick it down. And as the glue begins to dry, it will dry clear, so don't worry if you can still see the glue around the edges there. And there's the completed basket. I hope you've enjoyed this project. If so, please do subscribe. There's lots more to come. And for now, thank you for watching.